Hi guys, for my first case, I had Serena Parker, and she is a fourth grade student who just started the second quarter of the school year at a new school. She's the only child, and her mom is a single mom, and she works two jobs. So Serena spends school nights at her aunt's house, and she helps to take care of her two younger cousins. She was referred to the RTI problem solving team by her teacher after just 3 weeks of being in class. And some of the occupational performance deficits she has difficulty making friends and she appears tired at school. She doesn't turn in homework at all, or turns it in late, or turns it in incorrect or incomplete. She has poor test taking success. She is frequently late to school, and then she's below average in working memory skills and processing speed. So her diagnosis, she's at risk for social, emotional, and learning disabilities. So I have a few things that I think could be used for Serena as an intervention if she was at home in this quarantined world. So the first thing that I have is just a puzzle. So this one's probably below her age range, but puzzles are something that she could do with her younger cousins. This would make it a more social activity if she was helping them or giving them directions. She could work on her communication skills, which it would help with her overall social skills when she goes back to school. She could also do them with her aunt or her mom, depending on whoever she was staying with at that time. It could be social in any way, and it also takes some thinking. You have to figure out where each piece goes, so this could help with learning as well. Um, so the next thing that I have is a book. Again, this one might be a little too hard for her to read, but reading is obviously something that we do in school. It would help her learn. It would increase her learning, her reading skills once she went back to school, if she was reading at home, working on that sort of thing. It's also something, again, that she could do with her younger cousins or her mom or her aunt. She could read her cousins a bedtime story before they went to bed, which would be beneficial because she has that social interaction. And then she would also be working on her reading skills. She could also read. She could read to anyone in her family, and it would still be beneficial. Even if she read by herself, it would still be beneficial for her learning abilities. The next thing that I have that I think would be beneficial to use with Serena is just a deck of cards. There's so many different card games you can play with just a normal deck of cards like this one. I think that one game that would be really good for Serena to play would be just like a matching game. So split up the cards between everyone, lay the rest out, and then everyone takes a turn trying to make matches in their hand. This would help work on that, her memory, and finding where the cards were, remembering where they were, would work on that. And then again, it would be something that she could do with her family members, and then that would help with social skills. There's rules to games, so having those rules would help her in the long run once she goes back to school and social settings, knowing how to play a game, how to take turns, and all that sort of thing. And then the next thing that I have for Serena is actual games. So the first one I have is this Guess Who game. There we go. So it's just the game Guess Who, and this opens up, and there's different cards in there, so there's lots of different ones that she could play. It has the buttons at the top to answer the question, and then again, just like the normal game, you have these. So this is something that she would probably be playing with her aunt or her mom, because it would probably be too hard to play with her younger cousins, because I think they're like 4 or 5. And so this is something that, again, would help taking turns. And then for this game, you have to kind of remember the questions that you've already asked. You have to really pay attention to the characteristics of each little person on here. And so she would have to really, that would help with her processing speed. She would have to process the answer to the question that she asked. So if somebody said, or if she asked, do they have red hair, and the answer was no, she would have to really process and go through and make sure that she flipped up each one that didn't have red hair so that they were covered, and that she wasn't going to ask the same question again, or she didn't have more people than she needed to have left on the board. And then the other game that I have here is it's called Beat the Parents. So this is a trivia game, so it's kids versus grown-ups. So again, this is something that she could play with her mom or her aunt. It says ages 6 and up, so eventually soon she might be able to play this with her cousins too, so they could make it a big family game. And again, it's going to impact her in the same way, following those step-by-step directions and following the rules of the game. And because it's trivia, it's obviously going to benefit her. She's going to be learning from the game, even if she's not getting all the questions right. Eventually she's going to find out the answer to the questions, and so maybe she'll remember these in the long run, and they'll just increase her overall knowledge. And one other thing that I have for Serena, I just have this canvas, and then I have some paints. I know my sister and I both use these canvases and paints all the time for painting. So one of the assessments I was going to do with Serena was an interest checklist to figure out some things that she likes to do in her free time. So I just thought that this would be something that she could use to do for fun, when she's not, so she doesn't have to focus on her schoolwork or get away from caring for her cousins. It's something she could do for herself just to have some fun. It's something that she could also use to express herself. That was another thing I was going to work on with her, was some self-expression, identifying her emotions, expressing those emotions, just trying to feel a little bit better. So I think that that would be something that would be really good to use with her. And then the last thing that I thought would be beneficial, that I can't show you because I'm recording on it, is a computer. I know most people have a computer in their homes, and there's a lot of things I found online for like learning and like worksheets for students that she could work on while she was at home. I know that one of her favorite subjects in school is math, and she's really good at math. So you could find math worksheets and have her work on them, which would help increase her self-esteem. And then you could also find worksheets for some of the other things that she's struggling on a little bit, like that working memory and processing. You could just Google activities for that, and then you can find lots of worksheets along with websites that have games. So the games could be something that are fun for her while she's also getting to work on those skills. So yeah, those are the things that I came up with that I had in my home that I thought would benefit Serena. Thank you.